Good evening, sports fans, and welcome to a Tuesday night edition of the Friday Night Locker Room. Tonight's broadcast is brought to you by DeCandio and Associates, Allstate Insurance, and sponsored as always by Mike Erdman Nissan Cadillac, located on the 520 Causeway on Merritt Island. Hello, everybody. Orville Susong here, along with Steve Wilson. We're on the campus of Cocoa High School as the Tigers get set to host the O'Galley Commodores in a boys' varsity basketball game. Steve, we go from the gridiron last Friday night in South Beach, Miami, up to Cocoa Gymnasium in Cocoa, Florida. What a different venue this is.
Yeah, the venue. Last week we looked straight ahead to our right and we saw the skyline of Miami Beach, a moon rising over. It was a beautiful venue to broadcast from. Unfortunately for the Cocoa Tigers, who had traveled the 3 hours, it wasn't a beautiful football game to play. They came up on the short end, and their football season has concluded. Good news, bad news. Obviously, that's bad news. We'd love to see the Tigers continue, but the good news for the Tiger basketball team is they picked up some football players, which should make their team a little bit stronger than it has been the first week and a half or 2 weeks of the season.
You know, we look back real quick. We've got a little bit of time here while the varsity is warming up. The junior varsity game, O'Galley and Cocoa, is over. The Tigers with a win on their home court, 69-41. But talk a little bit about the football season, Steve, while we have an opportunity here and it's not yelling and screaming and the music isn't bouncing off the gymnasium walls. Some surprises this year, I think. Not a surprise for Merritt Island, even though, you know, they were a young team. Jeff McLean at our Beef O'Brady's coaches show said he's going to be young and experienced. He's not sure what he's going to do. All they did this year was the same thing they've done for the last 4 years, and that was win the game that they needed to win, and that was all their district games to get into the playoffs.
And that's what they do. I was talking to a former administrator yesterday in Brevard County that's very familiar with the athletic programs in the county, and he spoke so highly of what Coach McLean has done on Merritt Island. Yeah, he's one of the more underrated coaches in Brevard County without question. We talk a lot about John Wilkinson from Cocoa, Dan Burke from Palm Bay, Randy Halleck from Astronaut. And the War Eagles bounced back into the playoffs for the first time. But Coach McLean on Merritt Island, all they do, and you mentioned it, is they win football games, especially the district games. Those are the ones that get you into the playoffs. You know, they've got a solid feeder program, and I think that's important. There's some schools in the county that don't have that, and it shows at the varsity level. But it's been an exciting football season. As you mentioned, there were a few surprises, and there's one Brevard County team left that's still practicing this week, getting ready for a big game Friday night.
You know, and that would be the Viera Hawks. You know, we saw the Viera Hawks way back. We went down to Martin County when they were playing for, if they won that game, they would be the district champs, I believe it was. And I think that game there turned a lot of things around. You know, they had trouble moving the ball. Kingston was throwing the ball very well, but his receivers were not helping him out. They dropped a lot of passes in the first half. They went in and made some adjustments. I think at halftime, Kevin Owens come out and says, okay, we're not going to be able to throw it. Let's run it. All of a sudden, the kid named Brendan DePlanky showed up, and they started handing him the ball, Steve, and he just ran crazy. And I think all of a sudden the coaches said, you know what, we may be able to run the ball a little bit. You know, we've got Trey Nixon and Alex Cabrera, and we've got all this firepower down the field. Let's stretch the field. But you know what? When we need 8 yards, we don't need 25. Let's give the ball to DePlanky and get a first down, and let's move down the field, because they can strike within seconds and take no time off the clock. You run the ball down a little bit and get used to it, and now the defense is having to worry about not only the pass, but now let's move the chains on the ground.
Yeah, when you have a running back like DePlanky, he's kind of a surprise to teams that don't know him that well, because you think Viera Hawks, you think passing the football. That's what they do. You know, Hayden Kingston over 3,000 yards passing. But you mentioned he can run the ball. I like Trevor Merritt running the ball. Gives you a little different look, a little more speed. That cut back can take it to the house on any given play. So they have a running attack. They've got an interesting matchup and a tough matchup this Friday against Columbia High School. I had a chance to talk to the athletic director at Columbia, who's also one of the football coaches, and he's very concerned about Viera. He thought that Viera matched up with Columbia better than any team they played this year, because of their wideouts. He loves Cabrera and Nixon. He's concerned about a little bit of running here and there. And that's really saying something because Columbia has played Bowles. At Bowles, they beat him by 20 points. They played some good teams and have beaten some good teams. For him to think Viera matches up better than any team against that they played so far really says something. And that's what it comes down to at this level. You know, it's matchups. Can my offense beat your defense and vice versa.
And you'll be able to listen to that game next week on SpaceCoastDaily.com. Also on 89.3 FM in North Brevard and 90.3 FM in South Brevard, as Steve Wilson and I will go to the other end of the state. Last week we were in Miami.
Mm-hmm.
This week we'll be in Lake City. And we'll travel up there. We'll take junior Alan Slauterzinski, the rookie. We'll take him with us and teach him a little bit about high school football. But that's going to be a nice trip, Steve. 3 hours up, just like Miami was 3 hours and 5 minutes down, 3 hours and 10 minutes back. We had a great time. Unfortunately, we came back and did not bring a winner home with us. But hopefully we can do that. We'll reverse and bring Viera. Will be able to come home with a win. And then we'll be at the Citrus Bowl next week.
Yeah, can you believe it? The Viera Hawks in the Final Four in the state of Florida in Class 7A. And look at the teams that are in 7A. I mean, there's some really good football teams. The Hawks beat one of them last week in the Lakeland Dreadnoughts. And, it's just an exciting time for the Viera Hawks and really for Brevard County. They are the last team standing. And I love the way the county really gets behind the lone survivor. We see it every year. We were out of town last week, but I understand there were a lot of football players and coaches from other teams in the county at Viera High School Friday supporting the Hawks, and that's a neat thing to see.
Yeah, it works out real well, and you see it all the time, especially when they have home games. You'll see the Merritt Island coaches if they're out of it. You'll see the Randy Halleck's and the Astronaut coaches. You'll see all those coaches and their players. They'll show up at the games because that is a Brevard County team, even though they're not in it anymore. They didn't like them at all at the beginning of the year because that was their rival. Once they're out of the playoffs, now they become Brevard County homers like we do, and we follow them and we wish them well. And obviously, we're gonna travel to Lake City this Friday night, and we'll put that on the radio for you and also on SpaceCoastDaily.com.
Yeah, we will follow them Friday night. But tonight is high school basketball between the Cocoa Tigers and the Eau Gallie Commodores. Cocoa Tigers district champions just a year ago. Eau Gallie in a tough district. They struggled a little bit. New head coach this year in Brad Lustig. Coach James Rowe, Cocoa Tigers, he's been here, forever? He's been here quite a while. He's a good one. He's closing in on 500 wins here at Cocoa High School. We're going to grab a word in just a minute with Coach Lustig and Coach Rowe. In fact, I think I'll head over that direction now. But
Steve, two more things I want to bring up real quick about football before we do. Two things that I think were very good for Brevard County football this year, and that is the new staff at Rockledge High School, Wayne Younger and his staff. They went 4-6. They only won 4 ball games, but they won 2 more than they did the year before. They went 2-8 the year before that. But I think they've got the program on the right track. They've got people wanting to come back to Rockledge High School instead of going to other places to play the game of football. That's exactly what they need. And, if you look at what they have, what they brought up after the JV season, you have to give them a year or two. But I think the Rockledge Raiders are going to be back to the Rockledge Raiders of old. And the other one is the Nate Hooks and the Holy Trinity Tigers. I think they did a great job this year. Nate Hooks would, beat Holy Trinity for the first time and beat Melbourne Central Catholic for the first time in a 3-team district and was able to go to the playoffs for the first time. Nate Hooks went too deep into the playoffs with his team, and it was really exciting for Holy Trinity to see them do that. Now, we're going to see the Holy Trinity Tigers in basketball, and that's an entirely different thing. Holy Trinity has been great in basketball in Brevard County for the last few years. So they're going to turn from football, and they'll go right back into basketball. We'll see them in a couple of weeks. Holy Trinity, always good. Cocoa Tigers, you have to like them. They're going to be good this year on the basketball court. Girls side, the same way, Steve. You're going to have a lot of girls teams, I think, that are working well this year.
I think you're exactly right. We're going to jump in real quick, talk to Brad Lustig, head coach of the Eau Gallie Commodores. Coach, what do the Commodores have to do tonight to be successful?
We got to definitely rebound tonight, and they're a quick team, and they play good man defense. We just got to be able to run with them tonight.
All right, Coach, good luck tonight.
Thank you, sir.
Brad Lustig, head coach of the Oak Valley Commodores. We'll see if we can grab a word with Coach James Rowe.
Brad Lusk talking about the Oak Valley Commodores. They've won a few basketball games this year, and they're going to have to work on that. The Cocoa Tigers coming in with a 2-win, 3-loss record, same as the Oak Valley Commodores. Oak Valley trying to get to 3-3, as are the Cocoa Tigers. The big advantage tonight, I think, they are on their home court as the Cocoa Tigers. See?
Yeah, we're going to try to grab a word with Coach James Rowe in just a minute. He's giving final instructions to his squad, which is what you would expect. It's going to be an interesting year for the Tigers this year. District champions, Holy Trinity Tigers runner-up. The Tigers from Holy Trinity actually went further in postseason play than did the Cocoa Tigers. But waiting once again for Coach Rowe to come out. He stepped out just for a minute.
Steve, a nice crowd here already set up for in the gymnasium tonight. You like to see this. You know, the last few years they've struggled. A lot of teams have in putting people into the gymnasium to watch these high school games, but the Cocoa Tigers always seem to have a pretty good crowd at home.
Yeah, they do that, and I think it's primarily because they've won a lot of basketball games over the years. Ever since Coach Rowe is here, and actually before him, Coach Ebersbach won a lot of ball games, but they just continue to roll along. But it's you have to have the coaches, you have to have the players, you have to be in the right position, and they have been doing that at Cocoa High School on the basketball court for quite a while.
Well, we have an opportunity. We want to thank Community Bank of the South for coming on board to being a Friday night locker room sponsor. They have 3 locations in Brevard County. One at 277 North Sykes Creek Parkway in Merritt Island, the other on State Road 524 in Cocoa, and the third one on 1902 South Fisk Boulevard in Rockledge. Community Bank of the South provides personal banking, online banking, business banking, commercial and residential loans, other services. Community Bank of the South is an equal housing lender and FDIC insured. The website, cbosdirect.com. Community Bank of the South is community-minded, bringing you tonight's game to the public over this broadcast. And speaking over this broadcast, we want to thank Tom Palermo for working on Sports Centers for us on Merritt Island on SpaceCoastDaily.com. We are streaming only tonight, not on the radio. Friday night, we'll be on the radio, and we'll be also streaming on SpaceCoastDaily.com. Steve Wilson not able to get with James Rowe, the head coach. He went into the locker room, and now he's coming out, but it's got 45 seconds, Steve. We'll wait and talk to him maybe at halftime. But James Rowe, the Cocoa Tigers, taking on the Oak Valley Commodores right here on the campus of Cocoa High School. They're getting ready to get the national anthem going for you. We'll do that. I'll give you the starters for the Cocoa Tigers. First up, number 0, Anthony Hills. Number 15, Mauricio Kimbrough. Number 33, Caleb Washington. Number 35, Javante Russell, and number 43, Antonio Youngblood. That's the starting 5 for the Cocoa Tigers. They're set up now for the national anthem. We'll pick this up, and we'll take a listen real quick. Everybody getting ready to do that. That is the starting 5 for the Cocoa Tigers.
We're getting set for the national anthem. We'll be able to pick up the audio. They'll put 8 minutes on the clock. And then we'll be getting this ball game underway in just the next few minutes. Once again, I'm Steve Wilson tonight, along with Orville Susong, the Friday Night Locker Room, coming to you live from Cocoa High School. It is the Cocoa Tigers and the Oak Valley Commodores. Now, our national anthem. All right, we are set. The national anthem has been played. The starting lineups for both teams are about to be introduced. It'll be the Tigers from Cocoa High School and the Commodores from Orville. O'Galley High School from Orville. I was going to say, I'd love to be able to turn this MacBook around and pick up the video, but unfortunately, we're not allowed to do that.
I don't want to see me looking at you all night long, Steve. That's just not too much.
That's not going to happen. We're going to shut the video down while the game's underway. You'll still be able to listen to the audio. We'll come back to you at halftime. Not that you necessarily want to look at us for 8 minutes during the halftime, but we're going to do it anyway. And then at the conclusion of the game, we will name a most valuable player, and we'll sit him down in front of the camera and
we'll figure that out when we get to it, right?
Exactly.
This portion of the Friday Night Locker Room is brought to you in part by Jimmy's Restaurant, located in Rockledge at 1279 Admiralty Boulevard, next to Turtle Creek Golf Club. They are family-owned and operated. Hours for Jimmy's Restaurant are Sunday and Monday, 6 a.m. to 2 p.m., Saturday, 6 a.m. to 11 p.m., and that's Jimmy's Restaurant in Rockledge, Steve. And we also have an announcement about Jimmy's Restaurant. We're putting this out on the air for the first time. Nobody knows about it, but coming soon to North Cocoa, Jimmy's Restaurant is opening location number 2. To be named later, but for breakfast, lunch, and dinner, it'll be Jimmy's Restaurant, not only by Admiralty Golf Course in Rockledge, but also north of Dixon Boulevard. That's all we're going to tell you. It's going to be a secret. It's kind of like, where's Brenda? It's going to be where's Jimmy's Restaurant.
Hey, and the new menus are coming out next week at Jimmy's Restaurant in Rockledge, Turtle Creek. And what's going to be on the menu? Steve Wilson's Shrimp and Grits.
There you go. Right. We're going to give you the starters one more time for the Cocoa Tigers real quick, and then Steve will give you the O'Galley Commodores. Wearing number 0, Anthony Hills. Number 15, Mauricio Kimbrough. Number 33, Caleb Washington. 35, Jawante Russell. And 43, Antonio Youngblood. That's the starters for the Cocoa Tigers. Now over to Steve for the starters of the O'Galley Commodores.
Starting for the Commodores, number 1, Zamari Walton. Wearing number 3, Sam Joseph. Number 20, Anthony Santiago. Number 21, Trey Santamount. And rounding out the starting 5 for the Commodores, number 35, Chris Head.
So we'll put 8 minutes on the clock. We got 8 minutes each quarter, so 16 and 32. If I went to Cocoa High School correctly, that will be 32 minutes to take the game, plus timeouts and the halftime. So we're all set to go. The official now in the center. We'll see the snap. It's up, and the O'Galley Commodores will handle the ball first.
Santamount garners the tip, gets it over quickly to Anthony Santiago. Cocoa Tigers come out in a 2-3 zone defense. Commodores trying to spread the floor. Sam Joseph with the ball in his hands. Now back up to the top of the key, Santiago. A lot of touches on the offense of the O'Galley Commodores early in this basketball game. Trying to work it inside. Turnover, Tigers ball.
First turnover now. Anthony Hills will kick it out of bounds. Before he does, he'll save it, brings it down to the Cocoa Tiger end of the court handling the ball. Out in the front will be Antonio Youngblood. Youngblood with the ball, dishes off to Hills. Hills looking for a little help around to the outside. He'll push it to the right. Jawante Russell now with the ball, going to dribble up to the top of the key. Kicks it outside, fakes a three-pointer. Back to Hills. Three-point shot by the left-hander, no good. Rebound goes to the O'Galley Commodores.
Chris Head with the rebound over to Santiago, who brings it up court on the right-hand side, throws it all the way across court. Working inside, nice pass to Zamari Walton underneath. 2 points for the sophomore from O'Galley.
Walton puts the first 2 points on the board to start this ball game. We're at the 6:42 mark in the first quarter. O'Galley up 2-0. The Tigers with the ball. Youngblood working to the outside, dishes it underneath, gives it off to Mauricio Kimbrough. He tries to lay it up off the glass. He's fouled in the act of shooting. Comes up a little limpy going to the free throw line, but Mauricio Kimbrough will go to the line to shoot 2-0 in favor of O'Galley here at the 6:33 mark in the first quarter. Well, we have an opportunity. We want to thank Beef O'Brady's on State Road 524 in Cocoa. Sean O'Reilly, Timmy, and the whole gang at Beef O'Brady's have always been big supporters of the local sports, and the tie-in with the Friday Night Locker Room is a natural. Steve, if you need a table at Beef O'Brady's, just call Sean.
Sean is the man.
He's the guy that gets it done. Mauricio Kimbrough now will go to the line. The official over at the scorer's table. Now they've got it all worked out. So we'll have one foul on the board, and that's against the O'Galley Commodores. Mauricio Kimbrough will go to the line to shoot 2. First shot up, nothing but net and that will put the score at 2-1. Kimbrough now with his first free throw. He'll have an opportunity to put one more on the board with the clock stopped. I want to thank everybody for picking up our stream tonight on SpaceCoastDaily.com. We are at Cocoa High School on the campus of Cocoa High in the gymnasium. The Tigers are hosting the O'Galley Commodores. Boys varsity basketball. Kimbrough now ready to shoot his second free throw. Shot is up off the glass, a little too heavy. Rebound goes to the Commodores.
Commodores up 2-1, 6:31 to go in the first quarter as Trey Santamount brings the ball down court. Over to Zamari Walton. Walton to Joseph once again. The Tigers from Cocoa in a zone defense. Commodores throw the ball away. It will be Cocoa basketball.
Turnover by the O'Galley Commodores at the 6:21 mark. That'll give the Tigers the ball. They are down 2-1 early here in the first quarter. Handling the ball offensively now, Javante Russell will walk it up to the top of the key, looking for a little bit of help. Looks to the left, then goes to the right to Anthony Hills. Hills trying to work it down inside, kicks it back out. Hills again with the ball to the center of the court. Way outside above the top of the key. Cutter goes through, no pass. Caleb Washington now with the ball. 5:57, clock ticking. The Tigers running their offense here now, being very disciplined. O'Galley doing a great job keeping them away from the glass. There's a pass trying to get it underneath to Washington. The ball goes out of bounds. It'll be the Tigers' first turnover. O'Galley will get the ball back.
Chris Head inbounds the basketball to Anthony Santiago. Slows it up, gets directions from head coach Brad Lustig. Santiago goes right, goes left now to Walton. Thinks about a three-point shot, changes his mind. Once again, Commodores looking to work it inside. Referee saw something he didn't like. I believe they're going to call that one on Javante Russell. It'll be a push foul on the Tigers. Commodores will inbound the basketball underneath their own goal. Sam Joseph inbounds the ball. Joseph back to Walton at the top of the key. Santiago on the far side. Zamari Walton. Tigers remain in a zone defense, have really spread out the offense of the O'Galley Commodores. O'Galley wants to work the ball inside, but you have to like the way Cocoa is playing defense at this point. Sam Joseph with the ball. Cutting towards the basket. Once again, very methodical are the Commodores. Working inside, turnover, Cocoa basketball.
And the ball's picked up by Antonio Youngblood. He tries to give it down to Marcus Freeman, and it will go out of bounds. They'll give it to the Cocoa Tigers underneath their own basket. Javante Russell will take it out of bounds for the Tigers at the 4:56 mark here in the first quarter. Clock ticking now. They'll get it in way outside. They'll go to Hills. Hills looking for a little bit of help underneath. Nobody there. He'll swing it to the right side to Washington. Cutter going through. That's Javante Russell. Washington now with the ball. Over to the far side. Fakes a three-point shot by the lefty. Spins. Works his way in. He'll put it up. It's blocked. Gets his own rebound. Shot no good. And we're going to be tied up underneath. Now they're going to call a foul on Chris Head of the O'Galley Commodores. That'll give the Cocoa Tigers a ball underneath their own basket. Steve, you start out the season, do you worry more about offense or do you worry about stopping the other guy's offense? Seems like not a lot of shots being taken. The defense doing a lot better.
Yeah, we're almost halfway through the first quarter. 2-1 O'Galley. Not a lot of shots taken.
Tigers will take the ball out of bounds. Washington at the top, Hills at the top of the key. Ball goes over to the far side to Sellers, who's in the ball game now as a substitute. Antonio Youngblood inside calling for the ball. There he goes. They'll give it to him now. He kicks it low underneath. We're going to have a charging call against Marcus Freeman. He just entered the ball game also, and he'll get a charge call. That'll be a turnover. The ball will go back to the O'Galley Commodores.
Nice play by Zamari Walton of the Commodores to hold his spot to draw the charge. 4:14 left in the first quarter. Only 3 points scored so far. O'Galley, 2 of them. The Tigers, 1 free throw.
And you know, Steve, it's not like they've missed a lot of shots. They haven't taken a lot of shots.
No, they really have not. Santiago with the basketball picked up at midcourt by Russell. Going left, going right. Santiago, once again, beyond the arc. We're so used to seeing the Cocoa Tigers pressing, man-to-man defense. That's what we're not seeing at this point in time in the basketball game. Anthony Santiago trying to work it inside to Walton. He does. Turnaround shot, no good. Battle under the boards. Coach Lustig wants a jump ball. They're going to call a foul on the Cocoa Tigers. So once again, the Commodores will inbounds the ball underneath their own basket. 3:48 to go in the first quarter. Cocoa down 2-1 to the Eau Gallie Commodores.
Mauricio Kimbrough will come back into the ball game now. Taking a seat will be Marcus Freeman, so they'll do a couple substitutions. Eau Gallie with the ball.
Derek Lewis has entered the ball game. Lewis inbounds the ball. Quick foul called on the Commodores. It will be Cocoa basketball at the 3:46 mark here in the first quarter. Tigers inbounds the basketball. Jawante Russell brings it up. The Commodores in a 3-2 zone defense.
Tigers down with the ball, kicks it way outside now to the corner. 3-point shot up, no good, off the rim. And they come up big in front of the rim is Antonio Youngblood. He'll tip it in for two. Score now 3-2 in favor of the Tigers.
Santiago calling out directions as he crosses midcourt, throws it to his left. Trying to cut to the basket is Sandamount, guarded closely by the Tigers. Sam Joseph now with the basketball. Once again, Sandamount all the way across court to Zamari Walton. 3:06 to go in the first quarter. 3-2 Cocoa. Commodores pull it back out as Anthony Santiago controls the offense. Eau Gallie once again being very methodical on the offensive end. Tigers not letting anybody inside. Driving layup, shot no good by the Commodores. Rebound Tigers.
Antonio Youngblood with the rebound. The Tigers are going to push it down. They'll give it back. Stolen and then stolen back by Youngblood. Kick out. 3-point shot up and nothing but net. And that's Anthony Hills. And that'll be a 4-point lead for the Tigers now, 6-2.
Once again, Anthony Santiago barking out signals for the Commodores, guarded closely by Russell.
Steve, I like what James Rowe and the Cocoa Tigers are doing as far as playing basketball at this end of the court. They're not, normally Cocoa, like you said, run and gun, shoot the ball, put it up. Seems like they're taking their time looking for that open guy, and right now they got a 4-point lead.
And, we saw Rockledge do that last week against Space Coast. 3-point shot attempt by the Commodores, no good. Rebound Tigers. And back into the hands of Lewis and the Eau Gallie Commodores. Trey Sandamount with the basketball, slowing things down, backing up, guarded by Raymond Sellers. Santiago is going to hold the basketball on the far side now. Cuts to his right, back to the left, trying to go one-on-one. Strong defense by the Tigers. 3-point shot attempt by Sandamount. Off the rim, no good. Rebound, Cocoa.
Youngblood with his 5th rebound, offensive rebound. The ball goes over to Hills, back to Youngblood, back to Hills. They look up at the clock, 1:44 to go here in the first quarter. The Tigers with a 6-2 lead. Hills now backing it up. They'll send it over to Javon Trutland, just coming into the ball game now. Into the middle they go to Kimbrough. Kimbrough outside, 3-point shot up, no good. Bounces twice, rebound goes to Raymond Sellers. Sellers is going to slow it down. He'll lose it, and then the Tigers get it back. They'll have a jump ball, and it will be possession belonging to the Cocoa Tigers. They'll get it back underneath their own basket. They'll take it out on the sideline in front of the Eau Gallie Commodore bench.
Good defense by Derek Lewis of the Commodores to tie up the Cocoa Tigers. 1:20 to go in the first quarter. Cocoa 6, Eau Gallie 2.
Cocoa Tigers now take the ball out of bounds. Antonio Youngblood doing the honors. Tigers up 6-2, trying to work it. They'll kick it way outside to Raymond Sellers. Sellers running the offense. Hands off the ball as he goes around to Trutland. Trutland gives it back. Sellers now looks for three and then punches it to the end. Washington now in and backs it back up, spins around to the outside, sends it way out again. They'll start all over. We're under a minute here in the first quarter. Trutland with the ball, looking for a man open. The cutter goes through, no pass to him. Sellers now trying to work his way through. They'll give it to Sellers as he goes by. Over into the corner they go, down inside now to Youngblood. Youngblood working hard, spins up, good. He'll get the point, and he'll be fouled. Youngblood with his 4th point of the ball game. He'll go to the free throw to try to turn this into a 3-point play. The Tigers with a 8-2 lead late here in the first quarter, 40 seconds to go.
Commodores have switched from a zone defense to a man defense. Didn't work on that play.
Devon Arana comes in now for the Cocoa Tigers. He'll be a substitute. Going to the bench will be Mauricio Kimbrough. Going to the free throw line to trying to make a three-point play. Antonio Youngblood shot is up, and it is good. Youngblood with his 5th point of the ball game. Score now 9-2 in favor of the Tigers. Steve, they're slowly starting to pull away.
Jack Gallo in the ball game for the Old Galley Commodores. Less than a minute to go in the first quarter. As Anthony Santiago brings the ball up to the left side, now drifts more towards the center, crosses midcourt, picked up by Javon Trutling. Commodores, once again, they'll spread 3 or 4 of their players beyond the arc. A lot of passes offensively for Old Galley. Santiago at the top of the key. Cocoa Tigers remain. Now they've switched into a man defense. Anthony Santiago with the basketball probably 2 or 3 feet beyond the arc, picks up the dribble, gets it over to Santamount. On the run is Walton. Walton thinks about a 3. Now with the basketball in his hands, Gallo shot, working it on the side, no good. The horn goes off. Gallo couldn't tell whether he was trying to take a shot or pass underneath. Regardless, the clock expires.
And we'll take a look at the clock here at the end of the first quarter on the campus of Cocoa High School. It is the Cocoa Tigers 9 and the Old Galley Commodores 2. This end of the first quarter brought to you by Community Bank of the South with 3 locations, 277 North Sykes Creek Parkway in Merritt Island, State Road 524 in Cocoa, and 1902 South Fisk Boulevard in Rockledge. The website, cbosdirect.com. Community Bank of the South is community-minded, bringing tonight's game to the public over this broadcast. This broadcast on SpaceCoastDaily.com. We want to thank Tom Palermo at Sports Center on Merritt Island for handling everything on the streaming ending of it. Don't forget, Friday night, the Friday Night Locker Room Game of the Week will be coming to you from Lake City, Florida, up in the Panhandle, as we will go with the Viera Hawks as they one game away, Steve, from the Citrus Bowl. They're after their first semifinal state. Let's see, what is that called?
Yeah, well, it'll be first time they will have advanced to the state championship game.
Championship
yeah,
game.
If they can win Friday. And we hope this Friday is our second to last football game of the year. If it is, that means the Hawks will have made the state championship finals. If we get the second quarter underway, Johnny Ambers is checked into the game. Ambers with the ball back over to Jack Gallo. Gallo to Keith Head. A lot of new faces in the ball game for the Commodores. They're down 9-2 to the Cocoa Tigers early in the second quarter. Caraway with the basketball back over to Gallo. Very similar offense to start the second quarter as they played in the first quarter. 4 of the players will spread out beyond the arc. They'll try to hit the cutter, moving to the basket, but the Tigers' defense is not allowing the basketball inside. Ken McKay brings the ball back out. McKay over to Caraway on the far side, driving the lane, work it inside. Nice give and go shot, no good by the Commodores, rebounding Cocoa.
Tigers come up with the ball. Trutling's going to bring it down. He's going to keep it, throws it up and good. About a 4-foot jumper. Trutling with his first 2 points of the ball game.
11-2, Cocoa leads, 7:02 to go in the second quarter. Running point now for the Commodores, Ken McKay, a sophomore for Coach Brad Lustig. McKay picked up by Javon Trutling about 5 feet beyond the top of the key. Jordan Caraway with the ball cutting inside, trying to work it inside. Once again are the Commodores. They're going to call a foul on the Cocoa Tigers. Didn't pick up the number.
I didn't see it
Might
either,
have been 44. Could have been Dante Bishop. Commodores will inbound the ball underneath their own basket, down by 9 at the 6:40 mark. Caraway, they're going to call travel on Jordan Caraway. Picked up his foot before he started the dribble. Good call by the referees.
Was a good call there, and the official caught it right away, blew the whistle immediately, and Caraway knew that he had done that, so he just tossed it in, turned around, and headed back. So the Cocoa Tigers will get a turnover here to start the second quarter. We're at the 6:36 mark. Clock is ticking. Bringing the ball down court now, Marcus Freeman for the Cocoa Tigers. He'll hand it off to Washington. Washington now trying to work his way. Freeman, 3-point shot, high arc, off the back of the rim, no good. Rebound, O'Galley.
Rebound by Ken McKay, who's running point guard for the Commodores. Really got up for that one. Nice rebound. Now Caraway driving inside, kicks it out, thinking about a 3, changing his mind. Is Gallo, shot no good. Rebound, Tigers.
Sellers just stands under and lets the ball come down. Washington now with the ball way into the corner. He'll kick it back out to Sellers. Sellers looking to the corner to give it to Trutland. Trutland in a little bit of trouble. And now Ball is loose. Sellers picks it back up. Washington from the corner. Up, no good. Rebound O'Galley. We're going to get a push. And I'm sure it's going to be against the Cocoa Tigers. O'Galley will get the ball back. Keith Head will take it out for O'Galley.
Yeah, Keith Head was going up for the rebound. Dante Bishop for the Tigers got underneath him. Once again, good call by the referee. 5:45 to go in the second quarter. 11-2. Cocoa Tigers lead. This is a non-district game. Ken McKay once again brings the ball down court. For the Commodores, Johnny Ambers on the right side. Back quickly to Jordan Caraway. 4 Commodores beyond the arc has pretty much been the offense the entire first half for the O'Galley Commodores, looking to find somebody underneath as Johnny Ambers has the basketball in his hand over to Caraway. Caraway guarded closely by Javon Trutling, stolen by the Tigers.
Trutling with it left-handed up off the glass, and Trutling will get it. He'll also be fouled as it goes up off the glass too, and Trutling now with 6 points.
This portion of the Mike Urban Nissan Cadillac Game of the Week is brought to you by Al's Trophy Shop. 2 Brevard County locations, one on Palm Bay Road in Palm Bay, the other in Cocoa on US 1 just north of the beach line. Al's Trophy Shop creates custom plaques and trophies. They can be reached by phone at 636-6188. Immediately after the game tonight, we will be presenting the Friday Night Locker Room Player of the Game. That plaque was made by none other than Al's Trophy Shop.
Steve, go ahead and say it. Give him a call. You haven't
Give
been
him
able
a
to say
call.
that.
I know it. Give Terry a call.
Give Terry a call. You haven't been able to say that in 5 years.
A
little bit different streaming. You can say a little bit different stuff. The O'Galley Commodores would take the ball out of bounds. They're down 13-2 here on the campus of Cocoa High School. You're listening to the Friday Night Locker Room Game of the Week. Orville Susong, Steve Wilson from Cocoa High.
Starters back into the game for the Commodores. Anthony Santiago with the ball back out to Zamari Walton. Walton working it to the far side in front of the Cocoa Tigers bench. Trey Santamount with the ball in his hands. Commodores tossing it around the horn, so to speak. Once again, looking for the open shot. They haven't been able to find it so far here in the first half. They've only scored 2 points, and that was the first 2 points of the game by Zamari Walton.
You know, Steve, really something has to change here.
Commodores drive inside off the glass. 2 points. Nice running layup by Trey Santamount.
And that's what has to change. O'Galley's got to put a ball in the basket. Tigers will work it down court. Now Anthony Hills will do the honor. He gives it off to Trutland. Trutland works it underneath the Youngblood. Youngblood will kick it back out. Now they'll slow it down and send it way back down to the half-court line. Trutland again running the offense. Cutter comes across. They give it the ball off to Phillips. Phillips from the inside of the key. Misses the shot. Youngblood gets a rebound. Kicks it out to Hills. 3-point shot. No good. This time O'Galley with the rebound. And they're going to call a foul on Quinn Bussey, number 31, just in the ball game for the Tigers, over and back while they were fighting for the rebound. So they'll take it down. O'Galley now will shoot 1 and 1. Steve, they're in the foul. They're in the foul. Coco's already committed 7.
Yeah, the Tigers already have committed too many fouls. The Commodores in the bonus. Good position defensively for the rebound by Chris Head. That will allow Chris Head to go to the line, shooting 1 and 1. First free throw attempt is up, and it is no good off the glass. Rebound by the Cocoa Tigers. That's Anthony Hills. Excuse me, that's Javon Trutling with the basketball.
And they'll bring it up to the top of the key, looking around. Youngblood now with the ball. He'll kick it off to Hills as Hills comes up and working way outside, being guarded by Santiago. 3-point shot by the Tigers up, no good. O'Galley with the rebound.
Zamari Walton pulls down the rebound. O'Galley trying to run, ball stolen by the Tigers.
Youngblood stole it. He's going to go all the way. Underhanded layup is good. Youngblood, he's now got 7 for the Tigers.
15-4, Cocoa lead, 3:21 to go in the first half. O'Galley points hard to come by as Anthony Santiago drives the lane. You would think he's 10 feet from the rim uncontested. I was expecting him to put one up. He did not. Now driving the lane is Santamount. Shot no good. Rebound, Cocoa Tigers. A battle underneath the boards brought out by Hills of Cocoa.
Hills takes it, dishes it off, and Youngblood runs into a wall. And he'll be fouled as he goes up for the layup, and he'll go to the free throw line to shoot 2. Youngblood with 7 points here for the Tigers out of the 15. O'Galley now down 15-4. We're 2:57 away from halftime here on the campus of Cocoa High School. Youngblood now with three field goals and a free throw. Now he'll go to the line to shoot 2.
Anthony Santiago is going to make him earn him the hard way. He was not going to allow Youngblood to drive the lane and either dunk the ball or put it off the glass.
So Youngblood makes his first of 2. So we have an opportunity now. Wholesale changes from the bench for the O'Galley Commodores. They'll try to get some fresh blood in the ball game. Ken McKay in, along with number 35, Chris Head. Shot is up, and Youngblood gets both of his. He's now got 9 for the Tigers.
Ken McKay brings the ball up court slowly for the O'Galley Commodores. He's picked up by Anthony Hills as he crosses midcourt. Commodores with the ball in the quarter now at the top of the key. Thinking about the shot as Ambers changes his mind, gets the ball over to McKay, drives the lane off the glass, up and in, 2 points.
McKay gets 2. That's 4 points this quarter, 6 points for the ball game. And then now the Tigers' lead is 17-6. They've got an 11-point lead. Anthony Hills with the ball, and he'll hand it off to Raymond Sellers as he goes around, kicks to the right side. Back to the middle, they go to Hills. Hills going to drive now, keep it, one hot jump. He's going to get called for a travel. It'll be a turnover, and they'll give the ball back to the O'Galley Commodores at the 2:13 mark here in the second quarter.
Ken McKay gets the basketball from Chris Head, and McKay barking out signals once again, crosses midcourt over to Head. Head looking for a teammate in blue. Finds one in the person of Anthony Santiago. Shot up and good. 3-pointer by Anthony Santiago.
Santiago's first points of the ball game. Now that is a 17-9 lead. Tigers going to slow things down a little bit. Cornelius Phillips now in the ball game, over to Youngblood. And now Youngblood hands off to Hills. Hills loses the ball. Now there's a big fight for it. It will be picked up by Sellers. Sellers almost drug his foot. Youngblood fakes a 3. Now he's going to go, pulls up a 6-foot jump shot, no good. Rebound goes to the Commodores.
Johnny Ambers with the rebound over to Ken McKay. McKay goes to his right, now left, is in the center of the court. Works it into the corner to Santiago, drives the lane, tries to dish it off. He's fouled. It'll be interesting to see if they call it fouled in the act of shooting. To me, it looked like he was trying to pass the basketball, but he is going to the line there in the bonus anyway. Let's see if the referees give him 2 or 1 and 1. They are going to give him 2. They're going to say that Santiago was trying to shoot the basketball. The senior from O'Galley, first free throw attempt is up, and it is good. Commodores in double digits. They're down by 7, 17-10. 1:24 to go in the first half. Points have been hard to come by for both teams. Santiago's second free throw is up, and it is also good. Commodores now down by 6.
Santiago with 5 points in the ball game. The Tigers now will bring it up court. Doing the honors is Hills. Over to the far side. Back they go. New substitute Cornelius Phillips back into the ball game. Ball to Trutland. Trutland keeps it, drives, kicks it to the outside. Back over to Phillips, back to Hills. Under 1 minute to go here in the half. Steve, where's Brenda? She's listening. Here's the shot off the glass. Youngblood is blocked, but they're going to call a charge against Youngblood. Chris Head from the O'Galley Commodore stands his ground, and Youngblood will plow him over. That would be a charge the other way with 52 seconds left to go. Steve Wilson and the O'Galley Commodores going that way.
Commodores just about ready to inbound the basketball, and they do. Back to Ken McKay. McKay, kind of a half trot, moves it up. That's been full speed. Commodores have been very methodical, not a lot of running in the first half. Shot attempt off the glass, no good. Rebound, Tigers.
Another rebound by Antonio Youngblood. He leads everybody in the rebound category, plus he's got 9 points for the Tigers on the offensive side. They're going to slow it down now, wait for one shot, 28 seconds on the clock to go. Now we're going to hit the 20-second mark with the Tigers holding the ball way outside. Guarded by Sam Joseph is Youngblood. Looking for one cutter to Bonarani, goes across the middle, nobody there. Youngblood now clears away. He's going to be fouled by Sam Joseph of the O'Galley Commodores. and they'll be in a bonus. No, they won't. So they'll take it out of bounds on the far side. The Tigers with 9.3 seconds left to go. Steve, it's going to be a couple passes and put it up.
Yeah, not a bad foul trying to steal the basketball. The Tigers not yet in the bonus. Quick timeout call, 30-second timeout called by James Rowe and the Cocoa Tigers.
And the Friday Night Locker Room would like to welcome a new sponsor for tonight, DeCandio & Associates, Allstate Insurance. Jennifer DeCandio, Agency Principal. They have 2 locations to serve you, one in Port St. John at 950 Fay Boulevard. The phone number there, 631-3777. And the second location up in Mims at 3239 North Highway, US number 1. The phone number there, give them a call at 267-8711 for auto, home, life, investment, disability. If you have a boat, you have a motorcycle, you have a four-wheeler, or you need rental insurance, give Jennifer DeCandio a call at 631-3777. How about that? 9.3 seconds left to go. The Tigers will take the ball out at their end of the court, leading 17-11. Big second quarter, Steve, for the O'Galley Commodores. If you look at it, they've scored 9 points. They only started out the quarter with 2. Tigers now will take the ball out of bounds. 43 seconds, 4.3 seconds. Youngblood with a shot, no good.
Long three-point shot attempt by Ken McKay is no good, ends the first half.
So the O'Galley Commodores come into Cocoa here. They are down 17-11 at the end of the second quarter. So we are at halftime on the campus of Cocoa High School. You're listening to the Friday Night Locker Room. Orville Susong, Steve Wilson coming to you from Cocoa High. We'll give you the scoring now for O'Galley in the first quarter. Zamari Walton came out, shot a 2-pointer, got the first 2 points of the ball game, and from that point, no more points in the first quarter for the O'Galley Commodores. Things changed a little bit in the second quarter for the Commodores, but first, in the first quarter for the Tigers, Anthony Hills had 3 points, Mauricio Kimbrough with 1. Leading scorer in the first quarter for the Tigers, Antonio Youngblood, not only clearing a lot of boards for the Tigers, also had 5 points. So after the first quarter, Steve, the Tigers up 9-2.
Yeah, it's the points have been hard to come by. Is it great defense or weak offense? Is probably a combination of both. The Commodores, their game plan is to work the ball inside. They multiple passes before they take a shot. Tigers came out in a zone defense, and the Commodores were having a hard time working the ball inside to even get a shot off. So it wasn't like they were missing a lot of shots. They just weren't taking a lot of shots.
You know, one of the things I was going to bring up early, the offense that the O'Galley Commodores is running, Steve, is a great offense when the game is tight. You take your time, you take time off the clock, you get a good shot, and you make it, and then you return down and you play offense. You play defense. But when you're down 9-2 and you're taking a minute and a quarter off the clock every time you go down, looking for the perfect shot, you're never going to catch up. When you're down 9-2 like that, you got to come down, throw the ball up a little bit, and that's what they did in the second quarter, and I think it was a lot better for them.
Yeah, but I think Coach Lustig, it's early in the game. You're down 9-2, but you're only down by 7 points. That's a couple of threes and a 2, and you're there. So I don't think they wanted to go away from their game plan that early in the game, and they haven't. They pretty much stuck with it. They have had a couple of easy baskets. It will be interesting to see what type of an offense Coach Lustig comes out with. We mentioned briefly during the first half that we saw the Rockledge Space Coast game last week, and I'd never seen as many passes by a Rockledge team in my life as I did, and it's kind of reminiscent of what we're seeing tonight by the Commodores. Maybe that's the new wave in basketball. Be methodical, look for the open shot, and run and gun is fine as long as you're making the shots, but you have to rebound the basketball before you can run and gun. And O'Galley hasn't had a lot of rebounds in the first half. The Tigers have been hitting the boards hard, and when they do that, you almost have to play set offense.
Well, Youngblood leading both teams in rebounds. He's doing a nice job. Also leading both teams in scoring. He's got 9 points, so he's leading both teams in scoring. But the Tigers, I think, Steve, they've looked for the open shot a little bit more. If you look at the stats, you're going to find that the Tigers probably have shot the ball twice as many times as the O'Galley Commodores have. But the thing you're looking at, they haven't made the shots or the score. You know, one thing you look at the end of the first quarter, you can't believe, wow, I can't believe that O'Galley that the Tigers have held O'Galley to 2 points, and then you look at the scoreboard and you think, I can't believe the run and gun offense of the Cocoa Tigers that we've seen in the past few years only has 9 points and only has 17 points at halftime.
Yeah, and if I'm Coach Lustig of the Commodores, I'm not real sad. I haven't played well, haven't shot well. I'm only down by 6 at halftime, and they're in the game big time, no question about it. It's going to be an interesting third quarter. We're both anxious to see how the teams come out and what type of an offense. You know, we saw a lot of zone defense in the first half. Occasionally they would mix it up more from O'Galley's standpoint. They threw a little bit of man defense, but not used to seeing a lot of Cocoa Tigers zone defense. They love the man defense, the pressure one-on-one. And Coach Rowe, you know, it's a different Cocoa team. We talked to Coach Rowe briefly before the game. You know, they may not be a 20-win team this year. But the future looks bright for the Cocoa Tigers. Their JV was very impressive.
Yes,
the
they
game
were.
prior to today. They've got some good youngsters coming up. So is this the year of the Tigers? You know, I don't know. The Holy Trinity, we know is going to be good again. They're good every year. So it's still early in the boys' basketball season. The girls is about a week and a half ahead of the boys. But still a lot of question marks in Brevard County.
And, you know, one of the question marks we don't have to think is we want to thank Fantasy Pools, one of our sponsors. Owner Joshua Jones has 23 years of swimming pool building experience. Fantasy Pools offers concrete fiberglass swimming pools and is licensed and insured. They are San Juan fiberglass pool distributors. Fantasy Pools is located at 1740 South Huntington Lane in Rockledge, and you can give Josh Jones a call at 863-2560. And also, Steve's coming up tax time pretty soon.
Yep.
Twyla Midwood and Advanced Tax Center. They do individual, corporate, partnership, estate, and trust tax returns. Advanced Tax Center also offers bookkeeping and payroll services for businesses. The phone number there is 636-8561. The website, advancedtaxcenter.com, the official tax supplier of the Friday Night Locker Room and Florida Broadcasting Group.
That is correct. And also the official bank of the Friday Night Locker Room, Community Bank of the South. Community Bank of the South jumped on board a couple of weeks ago just in time for the exciting football season, and they're here with us during basketball season.
They have 3 locations around Brevard County, the one at 275 North Sykes Creek Parkway in Merritt Island, State Road 524 in Cocoa, and 1902 South Fisk Boulevard in Rockledge. Community Bank of the South provides personal banking, online banking, business banking, commercial, residential loans, and other services. Community Bank of the South is an equal housing lender and FDIC insured. That means all your millions that you have, Steve, if it's in Community Bank of the South, it's protected by, well, it's protected by the government. So I don't know if that's so good or not.
And you do what? Keep yours under your mattress at the house?
Mine's not under my mattress anymore. Mine, I used to keep it in aluminum foil. I press it with the T-shirt press, make it nice and flat, and put it in the freezer. But those days are gone, buddy. I'm digging a hole just like everybody else and picking up. Actually, I'm picking up pennies and nickels in Circle K parking lot. That's where I get my money.
Nothing wrong with that. 3:04 left before the start of the third quarter. The Cocoa Tigers up 17-11 over the O'Galley Commodores. This, once again, is not a district contest.
But I think it's a Cape Coast Conference game.
It is a Cape Coast Conference game. Bragging rights, you know, Cape Coast Conference doesn't get you to the playoffs, but it gets you the big trophy at the end of the year.
Absolutely.
And the bragging rights around the county.
Well, we'll give you the scoring now while we're at halftime for the O'Galley Commodores. Zamari Walton with 2 points, Ken McKay with 2. Anthony Santiago leading all scores for O'Galley with 5. Trey Santamont with 2. That puts them at 11 points at the halftime. For the Cocoa Tigers, Anthony Hills with 3s, Javon Trutland with 4. Now Mauricio Kimbrough made a free throw, so he has 1. And Antonio Youngblood leading in rebounding and also leading all scorers to score here at halftime on the Friday Night Locker Room basketball game of the week. 17-11 in favor of the Tigers over the O'Galley Commodores. I want to remind everybody this Friday we'll head up to Lake City and we will follow the Vieira Hawks up there as they take on a big powerhouse from the north, and they'll look to up in them, and Vieira looking for one more win, one win shy of heading to the Citrus Bowl. We'd like to go there again. We've been there 3 times, and all 3 times we came back with a state championship in football with the Cocoa Tigers. So maybe this will be Vieira Hawks here. Steve Wilson heading down now to talk to the head coach of the Cocoa Tigers, James Rowe, before we get started in the third quarter. Down to Steve. Steven?
Thanks, Orville. I'm with James Rowe, head coach of the Tigers. Coach, up by 6 at halftime. Your thoughts on the first half?
Well, I thought we played a great defensive first half. We kind of let up the last couple of minutes, and they scored about 8 points. We're trying to implement some of the football players tonight, so it's a little struggle for us. But overall, I'm pretty happy with the first half of play.
All right, Coach, good luck second half.
All right, thank you.
James Rowe, head coach of the Cocoa Tigers. We'll see if we can grab a quick word with Coach Lustig as the clock ticks down. We're almost ready to start quarter number 3. Let's see if I can sneak in. I better not sneak in. He's talking to the kids as we speak. So his squad only down by 6. He has to be relatively pleased, not with the number of points he scored, but by the fact that he's only down by 6.
Well, and Steve, you look at I'm very surprised at the offense that the O'Galley Commodores are running. That's not an offense that you're going to produce a lot of points out of, unless when you take that one shot, you make it, and they haven't been able to do that. So, something I think I'm sure adjustments will be made by Brad Luxon at halftime, and hopefully we'll see a little bit different O'Galley team as they come out here to start the second half, because 11 points in a half for a high school ball game, and 17 for the Tigers. You would think, wow, what a defensive game, but it's not that much defensive, as neither team has really put up the ball that many times.
Well, Coach Rowe is pleased with the way his defense is playing, and so you credit them with that. O'Galley's a pretty good basketball team. They've won a couple of games to start the season, 2-3. They're trying to even up their record to 3-3. They're much better offensively than they showed in the first half. I expect to see a different team here in the second half.
So the Tigers will get the ball to start the third quarter, and they'll have the same starting 5, almost a turnover there, but Hills will get it back. He'll kick it underneath, and they'll kick it back out. In and out they go. Try to get it to Youngblood. Youngblood didn't know the ball was coming to him. It goes out of bounds. It'll be a turnover. First turnover of the second half. The O'Galley Commodores will bring the ball down court. Anthony Santiago with the ball, guarded by Anthony Hills.
Santiago kicks it over to Zamari Walton. Walton back to Sam Joseph. Original starters on the floor. Chris Head with the ball, working it inside to Santiago. Now kicks it out. 3-point shot attempt up and no good by Sandamount. Rebound Tigers.
And this time it's Anthony Hills gets up high, pulls the rebound down, kicks the ball into the Russell. Russell standing way outside now. O'Galley will go into zone defense. He'll try to work it inside to Youngblood. He'll back his way in, spin, right-handed hook, and it is good.
19-11 Tigers lead. 7:01 to go in the third quarter. Anthony Santiago brings the ball down court. Chris Head guarded closely by Youngblood, almost loses control of the ball. Driving the lane now is Sandamount. He's fouled. Commodores will inbound the basketball underneath their own basket. 6:49 to go in the third quarter. Tigers 19, Commodores 11. Head looking for a teammate to get the ball to. Does find one in the person of Sam Joseph. Joseph to Santiago at the top of the key. Over to the right side to Walton. Zamari Walton now kicks it back to Trey Sandamount. Chris Head, a lot of Commodores offensively touching the basketball. Nothing wrong with that if it gets you a good shot. An open 3-point shot attempt, no good by Santiago. Rebound, Coco.
Russell with the rebound, kicks it over to Hills. Hills, long 3-pointer, nothing but air there. He's got 6 for the Tigers.
Tigers have doubled the Commodores, 22-11, 6:14 to go in the third quarter. Chris Head with the basketball, guarded by Youngblood. Head gets the ball to the right. Now looking inside is Sandamount. 10-foot jump shot by the Commodores. Walton, no good. Rebound, Tigers.
Marcus Freeman falls into a rebound there. He'll kick it out, and they'll bring it down court. Russell handling the ball over to Hills. Hills works it in the Youngblood. He's trying to spin around, going to get in a little bit of trouble. He'll kick it back out. It goes back to Youngblood again. And he's going to get called for putting the ball on the floor. It'll be a turnover. The O'Galley Commodores will get the ball out of bounds. No, they're going to call it against O'Galley. I'm sorry. Cocoa will get the ball underneath their own basket. Javante Russell will take it out of bounds at the 5:43 mark here in the third quarter. The Tigers double digits right now, 22-11 over the visiting O'Galley Commodores. They'll finally get the ball in to Washington. And we're going to have a stepped on the line, it looks like. It's going to be a turnover. Back to the Tigers it goes. Javante Russell again will take it out of bounds. Looking for Youngblood underneath in the top of the key. They're going to have to throw it way outside, and they do. It'll go out to Caleb Washington. 5:35 to go here in the third quarter. Ball goes to the left side. Kicks it over to Russell. Russell back to Washington. Trying to get it to Youngblood as he cuts through. No pass. Hills back to Washington again. They look to Youngblood. Now they give it to him down low. He's in a lot of trouble. He's going to lose the ball, but as he does, he's fouled as he spins and heads to the basket. So the Tigers will get the ball out of bounds underneath their own basket.
Just a reminder, you caught a glimpse of Orville and myself at halftime. There's nothing wrong with your computer. Don't beat and bang and throw it out the window. We are required to turn the video off at this point in time and do audio only.
Tigers with the ball now. Washington trying to get it into Youngblood. He'll get it down into the corner. Back over to Washington to go Hills. Nice defense by the O'Galley Commodores to keep the Tigers. Tigers being very patient. There's the three-point shot up, no good. Rebound goes to the O'Galley Commodores.
Good position by Derek Lewis of the Commodores to pull that rebound down as he gets the ball over to Ken McKay. McKay to his left to Chris Head. A lot of movement offensively without the basketball by O'Galley. Long three-point shot attempt up and good by Trey Santamount.
Steve, not only was it long, it was high. I thought it was going to hit the roof. But that about 14 points on the ball on the board for O'Galley. Youngblood now with the ball way outside. They'll lose it. O'Galley will get the turnover.
Stolen by Chris Head over to Trey Santamount. Nice defense by the senior from O'Galley, Chris Head. Now Ken McKay slows things down just a little bit. Swinging the ball to the right side of the Commodores, thinking about a three, changing their mind. Now there's a long three-point shot attempt by Santamount. No good. Rebound underneath by Commodores. 4-foot jump shot. Good 2 points. Ken McKay.
Steve, there's the old saying, you never save the basketball under your opponent's basket. Great thing there. The Tigers saved it underneath the basket. McKay just picked it up and rolled it in. Going to have a turnover. The Tigers get it. O'Galley gets it back. The Tigers get it. O'Galley's got it again.
Derek Lewis to Chris Head. Drives the lane. 2-point shot. All of a sudden, the Commodores within 4, 22-18.
And James Rowe, we knew this was coming. James Rowe's going to get up off the bench and call a timeout. All of a sudden, the O'Galley Commodores catch fire. They've got 7 points in this quarter. The Cocoa Tigers with only 5.
Yeah, it's been the defensive pressure of the O'Galley Commodores wreaking havoc in the third quarter. Cocoa had a 6-point lead at halftime. Now it's 22-18. The Friday Night Locker Room is funded in part by Space Coast Tire. Space Coast Tire is an automotive repair service located at 1732 South Huntington Lane in Rockledge. Batteries, tires, brakes, oil changes, alignments, and more. The phone number for Space Coast Tire, 321-639-4008, and please give them a call. Hey, they're good. They got the van fixed up so we could go to Miami last week.
And now they're going to work on it again to make sure we get to Jacksonville and back. So Tigers kicking the ball back and forth. High three-point shot, no good. High up off the glass. O'Galley with the rebound.
If we go to Jacksonville, we're going in the wrong direction.
No, we got to go to Jacksonville before we go to Lake City.
No, we're going up the turnpike to 75.
No, we ain't going that way.
Ken McKay with the basketball in his hands for the O'Galley Commodores. 3:09 to go in the third quarter. Cocoa 22, O'Galley 18. Stolen by the Tigers.
And there goes Youngblood. Look for the dunk, and there it is. Youngblood takes it up, slams it down. The crowd on their feet. They love to see that.
Absolutely. 24-18 Tiger lead. Santamount over to Chris Head in the corner. Thinking about a three now, working it inside to Chris Head. Spin around, jump shot.
Nice play.
Nice move by Chris Head. 2 points off the glass.
Head with 4 points in the ball game, all coming here in the third quarter to keep the O'Galley Commodores close. The Tigers with only a 4-point lead. He had a 6-point lead at halftime. And we're going to have a 5-second violation against the Cocoa Tigers. It'll be a turnover, and the O'Galley Commodores will get the ball back.
2:28 to go in the third quarter. Tigers up by 4 points as Chris Head stands right next to head coach James Rowe of the Cocoa Tigers, waiting to inbounds the basketball. Ken McKay quickly to Anthony Santiago. Once again, good ball movement by the Commodores, looking for the open shot. They find the open shot, driving the lane off the glass. Shot no good by McKay. Rebound, Tigers.
Antonio Youngblood goes up, gets the rebound. He'll kick it over to the left side to Russell. Russell back to Youngblood. Youngblood up and over. And they're going to call that on O'Galley. Steve, I think that was close. I think Youngblood went up on, but they're going to call it against O'Galley. Youngblood will go to the line to shoot 2 at the 2:02 mark. Only a 4-point difference. The Tigers 24, the O'Galley Commodores 20.
Chris Head trying to draw the charge. He's asking the referee now exactly what he did wrong. He's not angry with him. He just wants to know what he did. The call went in the direction of the Cocoa Tigers.
Youngblood makes his free throw. He's got 14 points now for the Cocoa Tigers, leading all scorers. 5 points for Santiago. That's what he has. He's leading the O'Galley Commodores. Youngblood now ready to go. Antonio ready for the second shot. It is up and off the side of the glass, off the side of the rim, no good. Whistle is blown. And they'll give the ball to the O'Galley Commodores with 2:02 left in the third quarter.
Santiago looking to inbound the basketball to Ken McKay, and he does.
Mauricio Kimbrough back in the ball game for the Cocoa Tigers.
Zamari Walton with the ball, goes left, goes right now, swings it all the way across court. 3-point shot attempt by Santiago is up, and it is good.
Here come the Commodores, Steve. 25-23. 2-point lead. The Cocoa Tigers with the ball. Mauricio Kimbrough on the outside being guarded tightly. They'll kick it off to Sellers. Sellers drives, little 4-foot shot up, and it is good.
Nice running jump shot by Raymond Sellers. 1:28 to go in the third quarter. Driving to the lane is Zamari Walton off the glass. 2 points. O'Galley 27-25, Cocoa.
Now we're getting a run and gun on both sides, Steve, and we like it a lot better. Hills with the ball. Hands off and almost loses it to Trutland. Trutland now, new man in the ball game, is Debon Arana. Hills trying to, loses it. O'Galley picks it up, turnover.
Santiago to McKee on the fast break. Shot up and no good. Will remain in possession of O'Galley. Nice comeback defensively by the Cocoa Tigers. The O'Galley man-to-man defense has really worked well here in the third quarter. Played a lot of zone in the first half. They made the switch, and it seems to be working for Coach Brad Lustig. Zamari Walton with the basketball about 4 feet beyond the arc. Picks up the dribble, kicks it to the left. Anthony Santiago to Ken McKay. McKay looking at Derek Lewis. 3-point shot attempt by Santiago off the front iron. No good. The Tigers off and running.
Rebound quickly by Trutland. They're going to send it. Trutland all the way down, takes it up off the glass. It's good. He's got 6 points in the ball game.
29-25 Tigers. 26 seconds to go in the third quarter. Ken McKay slows things down for the O'Galley Commodores. He's picked up by Raymond Sellers. Ball on the far side. Santiago back to McKay. Goes out of bounds, tipped out of bounds. It will remain in possession of O'Galley.
Good hustle by Raymond Sellers trying to knock the ball loose and went out of bounds, went right into the O'Galley bench to try to save it. Tigers down up 29-25.
Zamari Walton looking for a teammate, does find one. Ken McKay driving the lane. They're going to call an offensive foul on Ken McKay because the ball went in the rim. Tough. It would have been a basket. One of those calls that could have gone either way. But the call went in favor of the Tigers. They're going to call an offensive foul on Ken McKay. 10 seconds to go in the third quarter. Tough break.
That was right in front of the bench, right in front of us, Steve. That was a tough call.
Yeah, I know it. It really was.
It was a tough call, but the Tigers will take it out of bounds. Kimbrough will take it down, hands it to Sellers. A whistle blows. Sellers going to take it on in. And we'll have a foul against the O'Galley Commodores. 29-25, 8.5 seconds left to go here in the third quarter. You're listening to the Friday Night Locker Room Tuesday night edition. Steve Wilson, Orville Susong, Tigers with the ball. Trying to get it. They get it to Sellers. O'Galley will take it away. 6 seconds left to go.
Santiago saves it. 4-foot jump shot, no good by the Commodores. Rebound underneath as the clock expires.
And the will sound right there, 29-25 in favor of the Cocoa Tigers. At the end of the half, they were 17-11. So right now they have a 4-point lead. We'll give you the scoring now for the O'Galley Commodores as we run him down first. Zamari Walton with 4 points. Ken McKay with 4. Anthony Santiago leading all the O'Galley Commodores. He has 8. Trey Santamont has 5. And Chris Head has 4. If you add it all up, I hope it equals 25. Anthony Hills now with 6 points for the Cocoa Tigers. Trutland with 6. Kimbrough still with 1, but working hard on the defensive side for James Rowe and the Tigers. Raymond Sellers all over. He's the jitterbug for the Tigers. He's got 2. Antonio Youngblood not only leading everybody on the offensive and defensive boards, he's also got 14 points for the Tigers. At the end of the third quarter, it's the Cocoa Tigers 29, the O'Galley Commodores 25. They'll put 8 minutes on the clock here on the campus of Cocoa High School. We're 8 minutes away from this ball game being over. And Steve, we've got a good one, 29-25, only a 4-point lead.
It has been a good game. Jordan Caraway is ready to inbound the ball for the Commodores. He does so to Santiago. Anthony Santiago crosses midcourt, kicks the ball over to his right. The Commodores offensively really spread out, trying to spread out the Tigers' defense. Cocoa back to a man-to-man defense. Johnny Ambers with the ball at the top of the key. Ambers over to Santiago. A lot of ball movement beyond the arc at the top of the key. Santiago on the far side, swinging it around the horn into the corner to Lewis. All the way across court. 3-point shot is up and good by Anthony Santiago. 1 point, Tigers lead.
Santiago with 11 points now. He's keeping the O'Galley Commodores in this ball game. Now it's a 1-point lead. What was a 7-point lead at the end of the first quarter has dwindled down now. Anybody's ball game with 7 minutes to go here in the fourth period. Handling the ball for the Cocoa Tigers is Trutland. He'll dribble it in, dribble it out. Washington now kicks it outside over to Sellers. Sellers, 3-point shot up off the side of the glass. No good. Rebound goes to O'Galley.
Big rebound by Derek Lewis of the O'Galley Commodores. They're in position to take their first lead since early in this basketball game when they jumped out 2-0 on the Tigers. Anthony Santiago barking out directions to his teammate. He is in control of the offense. Jordan Caraway back to Santiago. Now cutting, kicking it back out, thinking about a 3-point shot. Good ball movement. A running 10-foot jump shot.
We're going to get a travel call there, though.
Yeah, they're going to call a travel, unfortunately for the Commodores, because that ball went in, shot by Caraway, but took one too many steps. It will be Cocoa basketball.
Taking the ball out of bounds now, Javon Trutland. He'll walk it down. He's got Antonio Youngblood leading the blocking for him around the outside. 6:15 to go as the clock ticks. Runs it in off the glass. No whistle. O'Galley comes up with the ball off the floor. Now we get a whistle. Sounded like it was about 5 seconds too late there, Steve, but they'll give the ball to the Tigers. No, to the O'Galley Commodores.
Yeah, they called a clean block underneath on the far side, one of those that could have gone either way.
Now they're going to give it back to the Tigers.
Neither team in the bonus yet.
Juwante Russell now takes it out of bounds. Sellers with the ball, kicks it around. Long 3-point shot straight up, hits the top of the rim. That will be top of the backboard. That will be out of bounds. And so the O'Galley Commodores will get the ball at the 6:03 mark, down only by a point to the Cocoa Tigers.
Once again, the Commodores can take the lead. Johnny Ambers with the ball back out to Lewis, across court to Zamari Walton. Ooh. Drives the lane, shot blocked. They can call a jump ball. Good defense by Juwante Russell. As Walton goes up to take the shot, Russell is right there with his hands on the basketball. So it will be Cocoa ball.
Possession arrow will go to the Cocoa Tigers. Youngblood will take it out of bounds. Javante Russell now waiting. Now they go. 5:52 to go, clock ticking. Russell will walk the ball down court. O'Galley will meet him at the half-court line. Nice pick set by Youngblood. Ball now in Hill's hands. He'll get it down to Youngblood, trying to spin it around. There he goes, kicks it out. We're going to have a foul called on the O'Galley Commodores. That will be against Amari Walton. So the Tigers will keep the ball underneath their own basket. 29 to 28 in favor of the O'Galley Commodores, and they will go to the free throw line to shoot 1-1. Steve, O'Galley has 7 fouls, so the Tigers in the bonus.
Coach Lustig wanted a charge on that one. The referee saw a block instead.
Youngblood with 3 free throws attempts tonight. He's made them all 3. This is his 4th. He has an opportunity. Rolls around off the front of the rim, goes to O'Galley.
Commodores off and running. Jordan Caraway brings it up down the far side. Caraway to Santiago. Santiago over to Walton on the near side, about 3 feet beyond the arc. Chris Head drives the lane now, kicks it back out. Head still with the basketball over to Walton. Walton to Santiago. Once again, the methodical offense of the O'Galley Commodores. They're trying to take the lead for the first time in a long time as Jordan Caraway dribbles, spins around, gets it to Head. He works it inside. They're going to call a travel on Chris Head. A little bit out of control. He was driving the lane. Good pressure defense by the Tigers created that turnover.
That was a good idea, though, Steve. He came down the baseline, drew a lot of defense, kicked it way outside to Santiago, who was open for a 3-point shot, and he's made 2. Not a bad play there. Unfortunately, lost control, and they called a whistle on him. Cocoa now with the ball. There goes Hills, and there's going to be a whistle, and that's going to be called against Santiago. And they will go to the line to shoot 1-1 will be Anthony Hills. Hills with 6 points in the ball game, none in the quarter. Tigers up 29 to 28 at the 4:52 mark. Opportunity now, shot is up, and Hills makes his first one. He's got 7 points, and this free throw is brought to you by Al's Trophy Shop in their 2 locations, one on Palm Bay Road in Palm Bay, the other on US 1 just north of the beach line. You can give Al's Trophy Shop a call at 636-6188. Second shot by Hills, up again, good. He's got them both. He's got 8 for the Tigers. Tigers now 3-point lead.
Ken McKay brings the ball down court for the O'Galley Commodores. Santiago with the basketball over to Chris Head at the top of the key. Head back to Lewis, Derek Lewis that is. Lewis cuts underneath the basket, was not open. Zamari Walton driving the lane. He's going to take a 3-foot running jump shot up and good. Commodores back to within 1, 31-30.
Walton with 6 points, did a nice little drive there, stopped right in front of the basket, kicked it up and put it in. Washington, 3-point shot up and nothing but net.
Big shot by Caleb Washington of the Cocoa Tigers, 34-30, 4:09 left in this basketball game.
Caleb Washington's only shot of tonight, Steve, and it was a big one.
McKay over to Chris Head. Head picks up the dribble, gets it into the corner. Ken McKay. 3-point shot attempt by the Commodores, no good. Santiago rebound, Tigers.
Santiago going way up high. He's going to take it, dishes it over to the corner to Washington. Another 3-pointer off the glass. Youngblood gets a rebound. He's going to slow it down. Kicks it back outside to Russell. They're going to slow it down now as the clock ticks to 3:33. And we're going to have a foul called against the O'Galley Commodores. No, we're going to have a timeout. James Rowe way out on the, and it is time for a timeout for the Cocoa Tigers.
Yeah, I'm looking at the Cocoa Tigers offense. We're seeing an 8th grader play for Cocoa, something I don't know that we've ever seen because this is the second year.
Second year.
But I know Coach Rowe did not have any 8th graders on his varsity last year. That's number 24, Marquise Freeman. He's going to be a good one before he leaves here.
This portion of the Friday Night Locker Room was brought to you in part by Jimmy's Restaurant, located in Rockledge at 1279 Admiralty Boulevard, next to Turtle Creek Golf Club. They are family owned and operated. Jimmy's Restaurant in Rockledge, coming soon to North Cocoa. Jimmy's Restaurant in North Brevard, Steve. He'll be opening at location number 2 to better serve your customers. For breakfast, lunch, or dinner, give Jimmy's Restaurant a try. 3:33 to go here in the ball game. You're listening to the Friday Night Locker Room, Tuesday night game of the week on the campus of Cocoa High School, 34-30 in favor of the Tigers over the O'Galley Commodores. Washington tries to take the ball out of bounds, hesitates, steps on the line, and it'll be a turnover, and O'Galley Commodores will get the ball back. Taking it out of bounds will be Derek Lewis for the Commodores.
Threes across the clock. 3 minutes and 33 seconds left in this basketball game. 34-30. Tigers lead. Santiago with the ball on the far side, guarded by Anthony Hill. Santiago almost loses control of the ball. Chris Head back to Santiago up top. Santiago to his left to Zamari Walton. Walton driving the lane. Shot blocked by Marquise Freeman, the 8th grader, but they're going to call a foul on Freeman, saying he got a little bit of the arm, but number 24 showed his athleticism.
Steve, it's time to play Where's Brenda?
Brenda, well, we know she's in the woods somewhere. That's all we know for sure.
All we know is she's in a campground somewhere. I don't know. She hasn't said anything.
Zamari Walton, first free throw attempt is up and good. 34-31, Tigers lead. O'Galley can cut it to 2 if Walton can hit this free throw.
Walton with 7 points in the ball game, 3 in this quarter.
Shot is up and it is good as well. It's a 2-point game.
Big free throw hit that time by Zamari Walton. The Tigers will walk it down court. Javante Russell will do the honors over to the right side to Sellers. Inside to Youngblood. Youngblood spins, kicks it back out to Washington. Washington's going to hold it, goes to the right side, hands off to Hills. Oh, there goes an O'Galley Commodore down on the ground. 3-point shot fake. Now they'll kick it into Youngblood. Spins around, kicks it back outside. Wide open Hills, 3-point, no good. And we got a whistle blown. Going to be against the Cocoa Tigers. It'll be a turnover. Foul underneath the basket. O'Galley will get it.
Big turnover. 2:35 left in the game. Commodores down by 2 with the basketball. Kim McKay brings it up. He's going to be picked up by Caleb Washington. Back to Zamari Walton. To Santiago, to Chris Head. Once again, a lot of ball movement by the O'Galley Commodores. Santiago thinks about a 3, changes his mind, gets it to Walton. 10-foot running shot, no good. Rebound, Coco.
Rebound goes to Russell. Russell started up, and then now he's going to slow it down and walk it up court. 3-point shot off the glass, no good by Youngblood. Rebound O'Galley.
Big rebound by Chris Head, and the O'Galley Commodores clock inside of 2 minutes to go in this game.
See, that's a shot you don't want to take when you're 2 points. You want to slow it down and work it like O'Galley is.
Yeah, you really didn't need that. Zamari Walton with the basketball. Chris Head working it inside. Shot no good by the Commodores. A little bit out of control was Derek Lewis.
Right idea. Good pass underneath. The ball was just a little bit behind him, and he lost his footing there. So we'll have a turnover, 34-32, 142 O'Galley. We'll call a timeout, and while they do that, we would like to thank DeCandio and Associates, Allstate Insurance, Jennifer DeCandio, Agency Principal. They have 2 locations to serve you, one in Port St. John at 950 Fay Boulevard, the other in Mims at North Highway US number 1. The phone number in Mims, 267-8711. For auto, home, life, investments, disability insurance. If you have a boat, a motorcycle, a 4-wheeler, if you have a double kayak, you can get insurance on that too. But for renter's insurance, if you need any type of insurance at all, give the Condio Associates Allstate Insurance a call.
Sounds like a plan. 1:42 left in this game, and we've got us a good one.
34-32. Who's got the ball?
The team in white.
The Cocoa Tigers get the ball. Antonio Youngblood will take it out of bounds. He's got 14 points, none in this quarter. So he had 5 in the first quarter, had 4 in the second, 5 in the third, none in this quarter. He's got the ball right now, handling it. The offense kicks it into the corner to Hills. Hills is going to bring it back up. It will go over to the left side to Russell. Tries to get it to Washington, knocked out of bounds by Derek Lewis of the O'Galley Commodores. That will stop the clock with 1:22 to go. Caleb Washington now will take it out of bounds. Throws it way outside to Anthony Hills. Man-to-man coverage at the moment on the man with the ball. Hills gets by and backs it up. Now trying to get it underneath. Washington with the ball. Throws it down inside to Youngblood. Back to Washington. Over to the left side. Looking for the cutter. There he is. And it is number 24. Shot up, no good. Gets his own rebound. Tries it again, no good. Gets his own rebound for the third time. And that is Marcus Freeman, the freshman, Steve, working hard. Tigers with the ball. Now you just want to hold it. It's under 40 seconds. Lost the ball. Gets it back is Youngblood. Holds on to it. Now he's going to slow it down. Under 40 seconds to go, and we're going to foul right there, and the foul will be called against Ken McKay of the O'Galley Commodores. Steve, big time off the clock there for the Cocoa Tigers.
Yeah, and 2 big offensive rebounds by the 8th grader from Cocoa, Marquise Freeman. Timeout called by Coach Brad Lustig of the O'Galley Commodores. His Commodores are down by 2 to the Cocoa Tigers. 38.5 seconds left in this basketball game. Once again, this is not a district contest, but it is a Cape Coast Conference game.
And you know, when we pulled this, Steve, we thought we would have a pretty good ball game here. O'Galley and Cocoa coming in with the exact record. So one of them's going to come out of here with a win. One of them's going to come out with a loss. And with 38 seconds left to go, we don't know who it is. We don't know who will be the winner. So 34-32.
It's coming down to the wire. This is as good a game as we had hoped it would be. You never know early in the season. Both teams coming into the contest with a 2-3 record. As we're about ready to restart things here. Cocoa Tigers will go to the line to try to extend their 2-point lead.
O'Galley will take the ball out of bounds. No. Youngblood will go to the line. I'm sorry. He's shooting 1-1. Big free throws right here for the youngster. Up 34-32 with 38 seconds left to go. Youngblood's shot is good. That's his first point of the quarter, 15th point of the ball game. Antonio Youngblood leading all scorers with 15. Excuse me. Second shot is up, and it is also good. 2 big points, free throws with the clock stopped. Now a 2-possession lead by the Cocoa Tigers. A 3-pointer and a foul, Steve. That would do it.
Chris Head waiting for the basketball now for the first time tonight. The Cocoa Tigers are going to put on a full court press. Going to make O'Galley work. Kind of a light press. They backed off just a little bit as Santiago brings the ball across court. Walton with the ball. Ken McKay, 24 seconds to go. Chris Head looking to drive the lane. Dishes off.
Nice job.
Nice shot. No good. Commodore's Head gets the rebound, puts it back up. No good. Rebound. Tigers underneath. Once again, a big rebound by 43, Antonio Youngblood of the Cocoa Tigers.
Steve, O'Galley had a great opportunity twice underneath there. A nice dish underneath the basket to an open man. Faked the shot up, and then he missed the easy layup. And Cocoa was able, Cocoa able to get the rebound and stop that flurry right there. And now the O'Galley Commodores are going to call a timeout. This timeout brought to you by Space Coast Tire, located at 1732 South Huntington Lane in Rockledge. For batteries, tires, brakes, oil changes, alignments, and much, much more. Give Frank or Tracy a call at 639-4008. Also want to thank Al's Trophy Shop and their 2 locations in Brevard County, and Advanced Tax Center for individual, corporate, partnership, estate, and trust tax returns. Advanced Tax Center also offers bookkeeping and payroll services for businesses. The phone number is 636-8561. Website, advancedtaxcenter.com.
We'd also like to thank the official bank of the Friday Night Locker Room, none other than the Community Bank of the South. 3 locations in Brevard County.
One at 277 North Sykes Creek Parkway in Merritt Island, the other on State Road 524 in Cocoa, and the third one at 1902 South Fisk Boulevard in Rockledge. Steve, yes, we do want to thank Community Bank of the South for jumping on board. They'll be a sponsor all through the basketball and baseball season, so we want to thank them for getting on board, as is Jimmy's Restaurant, and coming soon, Jimmy's Restaurant number 2, somewhere north of Dixon Boulevard. Youngblood now again at the free throw line. Steve, he's icing this for the Cocoa Tigers. He's got ice water in his veins. He's made his last 3. 14 seconds left to go. Youngblood steps in, second shot up, nothing but net. He's got 18 for the Tigers, and that will give the Tigers a 6-point lead. O'Galley with the ball.
Santiago brings it cross court. Whistle is blown. They're going to call a foul on the Cocoa Tigers. O'Galley not yet in the bonus. They will inbound the ball in front of their own bench. Chris Head to Zamari Walton, drives the lane, shot up and good. 2 points, 38-34. 4 seconds to go in the game. This one is history.
Tigers get the ball, and that will end that will buzz it right there. And on the campus of Cocoa High School, the Tigers 38 and the O'Galley Commodores 34. We'll give you some of the scoring here in just a second. The O'Galley Commodores fall a little bit short. Started out 7-2 at the end of the first quarter. Looked like it was going to be all Cocoa Tigers, but the O'Galley Commodores able to bring it back. And the scoring now for them: Zamari Walton with 10, Ken McKay with 6 for the Commodores, and Anthony Santiago with 11, Trey Santamont with 5, and Chris Head with 4. So that gives you the 34 points for the O'Galley Commodores. For the Cocoa Tigers, Javon Trutland had 6, Mauricio Kimbrough with 1, Raymond Sellers with 2, Caleb Washington with 3. The big man for the Cocoa Tigers tonight, number 43, Antonio Youngblood. He comes up with 18 points for the Cocoa Tigers, and that's where we'll leave it. Also, Anthony Hill with 8 points for the Tigers, scoring 2 in the fourth quarter, which will give him 8 for the ball game. So the Tigers come up with a 4-point win over the O'Galley Commodores. Not a district game, but a Cape Coast Conference game. Steve Wilson will talk to the Friday night locker room, Tuesday night edition of the player of the game. Also, we'll have words with head coach of the Cocoa Tigers, James Rowe, as soon as he is in and out of the locker room. We want to thank Beef O'Brady's, located on State Road 524 in Cocoa. Beef O'Brady's always have been big supporters of local sports. We want to thank Sean O'Reilly, Tim O'Reilly, and the whole gang at Beef's. The menu includes chicken, steak, and fish taco baskets and wings. Thanks to Sean O'Reilly, Timmy, and Beef O'Brady's on State Road 524 in Cocoa. Steve Wilson setting up now for the interview with the Friday night locker room player of the game. Also want to thank Jennifer DeCandio, the agency principal for DeCandio and Associates, Allstate Insurance, 2 locations, one in Port St. John and the other in Mims. You can give them a call at 631-3777 and also 267-8711. For auto, home, life, investments, disability insurance, if you own a boat, a motorcycle, a four-wheeler, or a kayak, you can get renter's insurance. Just give Jennifer DeCandio a call at 631-3777. Joining us now, Steve Wilson has the Friday night locker room player of the game.
Thanks, Orville. We are joined by our Friday night locker room player of the game, Antonio Youngblood of the Cocoa Tigers. Antonio, first, congratulations on the win tonight.
Thank you.
Kind of a low-scoring game to start with. I don't know whether the defense was great or the offense was struggling a little bit. Your thoughts?
To me, it was a low-scoring game on our side because we still getting used to the plays, and some people don't know the plays, so we got to learn how to run them and execute better. But I think we did a good job on defense, stop preventing them from open layups and stuff like that.
Antonio, overall, the performance of your team tonight, let's give it a grade. A, B, C, D. Oh, no, it couldn't have been worse than a D. You won the game.
I'll say a C because I know we can do better, and we have done better in our second game of the season. But as we've been going forward, we still, because we just got football players that came, so we trying to get used to the chemistry. So I give it a C.
Antonio, the big thing for you tonight, 18 points. What I like most about what you did was the rebounding on both ends of the board. I think that slowed a lot of the things O'Galley tried to do. It slowed him down some. What surprised me at the end of the first quarter, you guys were only up, you look at Cocoa, you think run and gun all the time. They're putting up 30, 35 points a quarter. And all of a sudden you look at the end of the first quarter, O'Galley with only 2 points. You think, well, Cocoa's doing great. But you look at the other side of it, and you guys only had 9 points. Talk a little bit about 9-point output, in one quarter. Sounds like it's a little low for you guys.
Well, in the past years, we have had a team where we could run a full court offense and move the ball, but with this team, we're not that fast, so we can't really move the ball. What we try to do is get a rebound, take it up the court, and get into a play immediately instead of pushing the ball up the court real fast, so that cuts out some of the points we normally would have.
6-point lead at halftime. You go into halftime, you have to look into the eyes of the big fellow, James Rowe. What kind of adjustments did he talk about making at halftime?
He was telling us, because they set screens, he was telling us to sag off, and when they set a screen at the top, the second man to get in between them because they're just shooting. So get in between them to prevent the pass.
So you move on from here. You now nice win tonight. I think a lot of people in the gymnasium were looking for more than a 4-point lead, but at halftime it was 6 points, only 4 points at the end of the third quarter. So everybody that paid their money to see a basketball game tonight got to see a good one. Yeah. But Antonio Youngblood, he is our Friday night locker room player of the game. I can't tell you how many rebounds, but you had 18 points, and I would guess between offensive and defensive side, you probably had just as many rebounds as you had points. But congratulations, young man. I believe Steve Wilson would like to talk to you again.
Okay. Antonio, I'll echo Orville's sentiments. Congratulations on the big win tonight. I know it wasn't a district contest. Cape Coast Conference game, you play your local team, you want to come out on top. You did that tonight. We would like to present you with our Friday night locker room player of the game plaque. You did it all tonight for the Cocoa Tigers. We're anxious to follow you and the Tigers this year. I saw sparks of a very good team out there.
Yes, sir.
Congratulations, and I don't know if we'll see you before the holiday season, but just in case we don't, Merry Christmas to you, Happy Holidays, and we'll see you before too long.
All right, thank you. Merry Christmas to you, too, and take care.
Thank you, sir.
So that ends it right here. The Cocoa Tigers with a 38-34 lead. We'll give you the scoring again. Anthony Hills with 8 points. Javon Trutland with 6. Mauricio Kimbrough with 1. Raymond Sellers with 2. Caleb Washington with 3. He hit a big three-pointer at the right time for the Cocoa Tigers to keep them with the lead. And Antonio Youngblood seals it in the end of the fourth quarter with free throws. He only has 4 points in the quarter, but they came at big times with the clock stopped, and he ends up with 18 points for the whole game, and the Tigers end up with 38-34, a win here over the O'Galley Commodores. Steve, and Antonio Youngblood said at halftime that not a lot of adjustments. Coach was just trying to get him to do some things that he thought that were making them some mistakes on.
Well, we talked to Coach Rowe at halftime. He was pleased with the way the defense played. They held O'Galley to how many points in the first half?
11 points
not a
first
lot.
half.
And I don't care who you're playing. If you can hold your opponent to 11 points in one half of basketball, you're playing good defense. And we all know, eventually defense wins basketball games. So, a good mixture. Coach talked about bringing some football players in. So, it takes a little time sometimes to come from the football field to the basketball court, and that's just kind of the way it is. But it's a good win for the Tigers tonight.
Well, you look at it and you say 38 points. That doesn't seem like a big output. Normally you would see that maybe at the halftime for a Cocoa Tiger team. But Antonio summed it up pretty well. He says, well, in the past we've had a lot faster, bigger, faster, stronger guys. We don't have that team yet. We're working on it. But, and here it's early, so you don't have the chemistry. You don't know if you can run and gun and dish the ball back and forth, like you do when you get to midseason or something like that. So, but the Tigers come out with a win. I'm sure James Rowe is happy that he gets a win, and he'll take a 4-point or a 40-point win anytime you can get it here in high school football around Brevard County.
Yeah, no doubt about it. Now, our next broadcast will be Friday night. We'll be not only on the radio, but be streaming as well as the Friday Night Locker Room van heads to Lake City.
You'll be able to hear that on 89.3 FM in North Brevard on the radio, 90.3 FM in South Brevard, and you can hear it on our stream at fnlr.net, and also Sports Center, handled by Tom Palermo over on Merritt Island at spacecoastdaily.com. And again, Steve, we can't say enough about what Tom Palermo and the guys have at Space Coast Daily have done for us. Zach Clark doing all the filming and working with it. And you know what? We want to thank two guys that we brought on board this year. First time they've been together. We didn't have an opportunity last week. We were down in Miami and we knew they couldn't hear us. They're both listening tonight. But that's Alan Slaughterzinski and Anthony Knockreiner took over the reins of the second show for us, so to speak, the Friday Night Locker Room Game 2 on AM 1300 WMEL every week. They did a great job. They got some listeners that want to listen to the Slaughterzinski. I don't know why you can't even say either one of their names, but they did a great job. I want to put it out on the air that we certainly appreciated everything they done during football season. Now they need to pick up their bag and get to work.
Yeah, what they've allowed us to do by coming on board is to double our coverage. We've been in this for 17 years now for one reason and one reason only, and that's to promote youth sports in Brevard County, primarily at the high school level, but when school's out, we pick and choose and do other things. But it's allowed us to double up, instead of doing one game a week, 2 games, instead of 2, 4. So it's really expanded our coverage. We're excited about that. A solid football season, a good football season is just about over. We hope 2 more games left, but once the football season has ended, we're moving into basketball full speed ahead. And one other thing we did want to talk about, a little bit about the streaming. You noticed at the beginning of the game, you saw a little bit of video. We turned it off during the game. At halftime, we turned it back on. At the conclusion of the game, we're back on. It says on, off, on, off. There's nothing wrong with your computer or your phone, whatever you're watching or listening through. It's just at this point in time, we're required to shut down the video portion of it for Brevard County Public Schools. Our intent is to broadcast some private school games. We'll have not only audio but video as well. And we're working diligently to get this issue resolved, where it would have been great tonight to have been able to turn the camera around and allow you to not only listen to the game but to watch the game. And I see that coming in the future, but at this point in time, this is what we're having to do, and that's just kind of the way it is.
Well, we're going to take little steps and get it right, and then take another big step and get it right, and sooner or later we'll have everything where we want it. But right now it's baby steps, and we'll at least we're able to put it out there where you can listen to the ball games, and whether it be football or basketball. And again, Friday night we will be in Lake City, and we'll be following the Viera Hawks on their quest for their first state championship playoff game in school history.
They're playing a good one, but they played a good one last week and beat them. So you never know. We will be there to bring it to you. 89.3 FM, 90.3 FM, spacecoastdaily.com. Pick your choice.
So for Tom Palermo at Sports Center on Merritt Island, I'm getting all excited now. We're going off the air. For Tom Palermo at the Sports Center on Merritt Island, Steve Wilson, I'm Marvel Susong, thanking you for listening tonight to a Tuesday night edition of the Friday Night Locker Room. Your thoughts, Steve, real quick on the ball game.
Oh, it was a good game. I think both teams are going to win some basketball games this year. Coco's going to get better. This is a different Coco team than we saw last week because they've got their football players. This is a different Coco team than we saw last year. Still some unknowns as far as we're concerned, but they're going to win a lot of games. O'Galley was impressive. I like a methodical offense. You look for the open shot. When you practice that way, you're just going to get better. I like their defense to hold the Cocoa Tigers to 38 points, even though you lose. There's some positive things that Coach Lustig can take away from tonight's game, and I think he'll do so.
So pick up the broadcast Friday night. We go on the air at 7 game. Kickoff time will be 7:30. Again, for Tom Palermo, Steve Wilson, I'm Orville Susong, thanking you for listening to the Friday Night Locker Room, a presentation of the Florida Broadcasting Group. We'll see you Friday night.